Who's already seen this Mike Tyson video?
I saw a little bit of it this morning.
I saw it this morning right when I woke up.
It was so good.
I just saw him chatting shit with the guy, but then afterwards I saw the reaction, and that was it. That was the only thing I saw.
You haven't?
No,
seen
I've never seen this.
All right, we're gonna get an authentic reaction then from Christian because he hasn't seen this yet. But this just happened.
Oh shit!
Hey, Mike, come on. Let's go stop that. Let's do the horse, man. Come on.
But leading up
Is
to
that business class? It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's like business or first class.
Is it Delta or United?
I think it's JetBlue.
JetBlue has business class?
Fucking video of him talking shit.
Derek Lewis, he posted it. That's where I saw it. Yeah, and it's the whole video of that they got from the beginning all the way to
Oh, it's the whole uncut thing?
all the way. Not uncut. There's clips, but it's like all the clips, then him getting hit, and then him afterwards. The lead up to it.
It was him like meeting him too,
Yeah.
right?
So was someone like
instigating?
Because it's his friend. It was his friend recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that clip because that one's pretty funny.
Hey, you ain't got ad blocker?
I need to get an ad blocker too.
I could try to find something to send to you.
Oh, here we go. So he meets
Mike Tyson, bro.
Mike Tyson's body language is like, get me the fuck out.
is this, bro?
You could tell because he's not even turned around once.
Tyson. Mike Tyson trying to give us some shrooms.
Man, he's killing his trip right now.
Tyson looking out, man.
And you could tell this guy's blitz, bro.
Never gave you his money.
What did he say?
He said they're peasants.
You just want this guy punched so bad.
He's just so annoying looking. Yeah, we're on a scene.
Hey, Mike, come on. Let's go stop that. Let's do the horse, man.
Look at his face.
But Mike Tyson, turn that way. Yeah, he got up. Trying to ask for an autograph, man. I don't know what happened.
That's the dumbest line in the whole.
Oh, this try to just
Apparently,
ask for
this is
an
what
autograph.
happened. So I read the summary. He went up, and Mike Tyson was being cool. Took pictures with them. It was fine, and his fool just kept talking. And Mike was like, "Hey man, chill." And then he kept talking and talking. And apparently he was drunk. And then so those obnoxious drunk motherfuckers, right? They just don't know when to stop. Some people, I just smell alcohol in their breath and I want to fucking poke their eyes out.
Yeah.
They're not even doing anything wrong. They're just having a good time. And I could smell fucking beer and I want to kill them.
In Mike Tyson's defense too, he didn't sock him once.
He just shook the fuck out of him.
He's just shaking him. Maybe it just looked like like just slapping. Like it was just like trying to get him to calm down.
He wasn't hitting him like that?
No, when I was reading the article, like a lot of people were blowing it out of proportion. Like, oh, he socked him up. I'm like, dude, we've seen him fight.
Yeah.
Like he did not fight. He did not punch him one time. Like he was not like a shoulder rotated. Like what?
It kind of looked like he was like hitting his arm.
Yeah, it just looked like stop fucking. I fucking told you.
Yeah, he was spanking him.
Why did he have all those little marks too?
Because he's a pussy. That guy's a pussy.
Yeah, when you get slapped in his arm, it travels.
Bleeding. He was getting shook. He started bleeding.
And Mike Tyson's slap is probably very.
That's his weakness.
Yeah.
Don't shake me, I'll bleed.
Mike Tyson's so strong. He cut him up, shaking him.
Shakes the blood out of your pores.
When I was reading the comments of like people when this was being posted, they're like, "Why doesn't he fly private?"
Dude, fuck you.
Why? Dude, I've seen a lot of celebrities like flying commercial all the time.
Dude, it's like so expensive to fly private too. You know what I mean? Like all the time.
Yeah. But it's also like, I think people are just assuming everything where like, sometimes people need an emergency flight.
Yeah.
Or when you fly private, maybe there's only 2 takeoffs during that
Like,
day.
you need to go now.
Yeah, and then even if you fly private, do you have your own pilot? Do you have your own plane? Do you have like all those things taken into consideration? Like sometimes they're just not available.
Yeah, charter flights are not.
Yeah.
I like how the commenter is making it Mike Tyson's fault. If he would have flown private, this would never have happened.
You know what's funny? The people that came into defense, they're like, why can't people just leave him alone? Or like,
Exactly.
why can't he just fly? Like, why can't he save his money and just fly commercial? And then the eco-friendly argument comes and they're like, well, maybe he doesn't want to spend all his money and fucking hurt the environment flying private all the time.
There it is. He's down.
Eco point to this?
Yeah.
Also knowing the Mike Tyson that we all know now, that fool's probably sad as fuck after this. Like I think Mike Tyson, he's been trying to like throw away his old image, right? It's all about love. I fucking want to love everybody. Do it.
I told him to behave himself.
And he's gone a long time.
Yeah, and it took him a long time to get that fucking inner warrior out, and then now fucking this guy brought it out of him. He's probably why the fuck do that
He's
for?
probably like really sorry for what he did.
I'm surprised he doesn't travel with Entourage or anybody else.
So they could beat his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
But then maybe because it's Mike Tyson, he doesn't need it.
In that video, was his buddy holding him back?
No.
Was that what it was?
Oh yeah, the guy sitting next to
Next to
Mike
him was,
was
like,
like trying to.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying is like that's the point of security is not. It's not like even though Mike's a warrior, it's like your security's supposed to be the one to take the shit for you in a way.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that are supposed to like kind of if shit's gonna go down.
If I was Mike Tyson's homie, I would never hold him back. I can't wait. Let me see that left hook. Left hook. Throw that left hook. This one been talking shit about you. Rock and roll left hook.
See, 36C, they need to get socked.
Slip under.
People be tested. He just had that other thing too, where the guy at that comedy show.
Comedy show, yeah. And he didn't do. He was like super cool about that.
Everybody's tested.
Imagine the guy that pulled out a gun acted way better than this fucking guy.
All the rankings of like.
This guy sucks. Whoever sat behind him, and it's everything you shouldn't do when you see a famous person.
But just like with Bart, he just looks annoying. That guy, like his face.
Well, isn't there a Mike Tyson quote that people were saying like they're all citing this quote where he said like nowadays people are getting used to talking shit and not getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked so sad afterwards too.
Yeah, he looks like ridiculous.
That kid reminds me of like every single person I knew growing up. That was the type that was like, so what, you want to fight? Whatever. He's like all up in your face, and then when they get punched, like, oh my god, what are you doing?
He's gonna call the cops.
It's like that.
Yeah, immediately. All we were trying to do is ask for an autograph. It's like,
I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude.
That's the dumbest thing too. That's the dumbest thing too is that commentary. I don't know what happened.
yeah. It's like, no, you do know what happened. You got socked the fuck up.
That's why they should just round up him and his friends and just everybody on the plane fuck him up. Because obviously their parents didn't do it.
They do it. They say it on the intercom. All right, guys, we're gonna punch these. On your way out, everybody just give him a good old.
And the
Like in
homie
the movie
too,
Airplane.
because the other homie didn't keep him in check.
Yeah.
The other homie, I'm like, yo, he's Mike Tyson, chill out, you know?
And why were they sitting next to each other? Yeah. What's up with that? I think foul play.
Both of those fools should get in check.
Yeah, I wonder if he like moved his seat on purpose and sat behind Tyson just to fuck with him.
Oh.
I hate that these types of people can afford first class.
He probably got bumped up.
Dude, that shit makes me feel so.
I mean, he already has like a kind of a privileged person.
Have you guys ever like been in a plane with drunk people though? They're
worse.
fucking
Sucks. Yeah, it sucks.
so annoying.
This was mid-flight too, right?
No, it was before it even took off,
Yeah,
right?
Oh, I thought it was like in the air.
he came on drunk.
Yeah, after he socked him, Mike left the plane.
Oh, okay.
And then when the plane flew and landed at the destination, then the dude went to the cops like at that location.
What a pussy.
Would it destroy business if they banned alcohol from planes and like bars?
Well, do they charge for alcohol? I think it's free.
Like,
Right?
would it destroy the business of flights? Because do people like, I'm only flying if I drink?
Probably. Some people get like anxious and shit.
Because I heard that the like most people just drink to chill out, like on planes. They're not
Just to
you know.
relax.
On JetBlue, I have a Mosaic, which is like when you fly enough, you get like the reward tiers. Mosaic's like the highest one. Mosaic, you get free alcohol. Wow. I just get hammered and pass out the whole time.
See, that's nice. You're not belligerent.
No, yeah, I pass out. I wake up on.
Pass out, mind your own business.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Hungover, I'm like, why did I do that? Do it every time.
You're the passed out guy where your friend's like, yo, you were sitting next to Mike Tyson. You're like, oh man.
You're sleeping on his shoulder.
I didn't take a picture.
You never had a situation where like a fan was bugging the shit out of you and
Oh man, just the other fucking month, I wanted to fucking pop that dumb fuck in the face.
I just tried to get him to talk about it.
And he looked over here too, and he knew that Joe was gonna respond.
I was trying to direct the energy.
That guy sucked though, dude. That guy sucked.
He was socially ill, is what I would. He was socially ill.
I like that.
No, he came up to me
Socially ill.
and then he would just like, "Hey, remember me?" And I'm like,
Oh my god.
Dude, remember me is the best way to go up to a famous person.
and I'm like, "Why would I?"
You remember me?
For me?
Hey, dude.
Yeah, and then he's like,
And then, yeah, what did you say? You were like, what did you do?
I was like, what did you do?
How would I remember you?
I was like, no, at first it was kind of cool. It was normal. It was like, hey, Joe, you know, and I'm like, hey.
What landmark did it?
Yeah. What impression did you make on me?
And then I was like, hey, what's up? It was cool. And then he just stood there and he was like staring at me.
Oh.
And I'm like, remember me? And I'm like, from where? He goes, no, remember I was there in that truck. And I'm like,
What?
you don't remember? And I'm like, did you do something remarkable? Did you do something, like, what did you do?
Remember me? I
I waved at you from the truck. And I'm like, when?
What a letdown. How do I remember you? I was in the truck.
I waved at you.
You're not gonna give me a color? You're not gonna give me anything else?
I waved at you.
In the truck.
I was in the truck.
So I was like, did we do something eventful together? Like, did we share a memory? Like, was there a moment between us that
I wouldn't remember.
did we invest in a business together? Like, what the fuck, like, speak, motherfucker, And I was like, at first it wasn't that weird. It was just like, oh, that was a...
He escalated it though.
Right? It fucking escalated, right? And he came up and he goes, hey, do you know this person?
He drove the truck.
And I'm like, who are you talking about? And I was like, which guy are you talking about?
He rolled up the window.
And he mentioned a name, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? That name sounds familiar. And then the thing is, this guy would just ask a question without like deliberating anything about it. He would just ask a question. Do you remember this name? This person's name?
Just
I'm
the
like,
first name too.
what about him?
Like, guess who?
Fill in the fucking exactly. Where did he go?
Are you familiar with Crayola?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck about Crayola, bro?
What about it though? Like,
He's like, you don't remember? You don't remember me, Crayola?
Big fan.
Were you trapped? Like, were you at a
we were at a restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Sort of
dude,
trapped.
it's like the-
Joe's in a corner, literally. He's like, do you remember me? He's like, fuck.
So that guy did really get close.
But then he called.
He kept wanting to shake your hand.
He called my friend and then he put me on FaceTime and I'm like, oh, okay. So I talked to him and I'm like, okay, I guess he's a mutual friend. So like, I guess this is okay. Because when you know someone that knows someone, it's like, all right, whatever. He's not that weird. So we're eating, and at the end, right, he walks up and he goes, Joe, can I tell you something? And I'm like, nah, you said enough. Nah, I don't want to talk to you. I said, you can't tell me. He goes, please, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, nah, dude, you can't. He goes, please. And I'm like, all right, what? He goes, did you know Jesus Christ died for our sins? And I'm like, shut the fuck up! And I pushed him, and I walked away.
He really said that to you?
Oh my god.
You didn't see me that I pushed him?
Well, because when he came,
This guy's
I remember he came up to you a second time, and I'd never seen Joe look annoyed like ever. This dude, Joe's face, I was like, oh, Joe might have socked this dude. I'm gonna leave. I felt uncomfortable because this guy was making me feel uncomfortable. So we all left, and I didn't know the rest of it.
Damn.
I didn't know he wanted you to go to his church.
What? Oh, he was trying to recruit me.
He's trying to repent. He's trying to make him.
Did you know Jesus Christ died for our sins, and he did this, and he resurrected? And I was just like, shut the fuck up! And I pushed him off. I was like, fuck! And I walked away.
And it's like, yeah, bro, everybody knows that. Everybody knows Jesus Christ died for our sins. Okay?
What did he think was gonna happen? Was at that moment I was gonna be like, wow.
Damn, he died. That's crazy.
Like, you know what? I do remember you.
That's why he did that.
he
He's all
actually
now.
died in the truck over there.
He died in my
He was
truck.
screaming this, dude, in the middle of the fucking restaurant. I was like, he was screaming this, trying to preach. The
Everybody
word.
was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
in
that's
that
real.
restaurant.
His friends from the table were just looking at the table like, I'm so sorry. And I called my friend. I was like, hey, you better talk to your friend, because if I didn't know him and it wasn't like a mutual situation, I swear to God, I would have dragged him outside and fucking kicked his ass. Only because it would have made me feel good. Like, it was one of those situations where you just gotta slap a dude. And I was like, man, I don't know, like, your relation to him, if you guys are good friends, but I'm like, you gotta talk to him. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, my friend's crazy. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, he's just fucking weird like that.
He didn't warn you on FaceTime.
He didn't tell me.
Yeah, he didn't go.
He did look a little like bewildered.
He looked like caught off surprise though. He was like, hey, what's up,
what's
Joe?
up,
like,
man?
why the fuck is this guy FaceTiming me so that I can talk to Joe and kind of vouch for him? Like, this is weird. I don't even want to be on FaceTime right now.
It was a good time. And I'm glad you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
For the third time.
He's like, so the next day I went to his church, I remembered him, and it was fun.
Fuck everybody up. You beat everybody up in the church.